So I go to fetch him and insist he quit the hotel to stay with me in my 2-bedroom apartment in Hyde Park, the south side of Chicago, where the University of Chicago was and still is. Great be the ties that bind. Wind the clock forward, and Joe announces again casually that he was going to get married after he had moved out and staying alone to be nearer his school, as well as the First National Bank in Chicago apprentice. I'm soon introduced to a beautiful lady called Margaret, a diminutive school teacher from Scotland who had come to Kenya to pursue her profession at State House Road Girls High School in Nairobi. My sister Susan had just finished her teaching practice there and then joined the school with Margaret, teaching in the same school. Great indeed be the ties that bind through the invisible hand of God. One morning, Joe wakes up and calls me that the wedding was that afternoon at a church downtown. I was to arrive in time since I was the best man. As a graduate student, I didn't have even a suit, let alone any form of formal clothing. So I put on my kitenge shirt, jump into the metro with a khaki trouser, and get there perfectly in time to be instructed by the priests on the wedding procedures. When Mwaniki was born and needed to be baptized, it was the same thing. Joe simply fetched me from my house in Nairobi and drove me to church to be the young boy's godfather. By the way, my sister Mary had been the nurse who delivered Mwaniki at Nairobi Hospital. She seems to have specialized in delivering the children of VIPs because President Uhuru Kenyatta, when he came to my mother's funeral, reminded us that Mary's was the nurse that delivered their firstborn at MP Shah Hospital. Great be the ties that bind. When I eventually got married in 1979, 6 good years after Joe, although I'm older than him, can understand why I delayed. He drove me in his car to All Saints Cathedral for my wedding. Like a good Jaluo, mine had to become organized, much more in style. Dark suits, bow ties, and all that. Arriving in a sleek Mercedes-Benz, driven by the son of a minister. But do I say? Joe insisted that the first night Dorothy and I had to spend for our honeymoon had to be in the new Boulevard Hotel in Nairobi. So there he drove us. The rest is history. And that is how our honeymoon started. Great be the ties that bind. Much more memorable, however, were our years as members of parliament and subsequently ministers in the Orange Democratic Party, Orange Democratic Movement, ODM, and subsequently ministers in the coalition government. We toured the country together during the campaigns for the referendum, the party election, the great general elections. Some of the people we worked with are here, members of the Pentagon, the Deputy President, Najib Balala, Ninajibu, and Omwami Musalia Mudavadi. I was your Secretary General. I can still refuse to give you tickets. So, we were frequently in Embu at Sir Isaac Walton Hotel. It was quite often that it was our scene of meetings and workshops, with Joe always telling campaigners to be as serious as Joe Nyaga, the only handsome man in town. A message he delivered with a serious face, hiding a noticed smile beneath it. That was the vantage Joe. I speak on behalf of many friends who have similar stories to tell about Joe. He kept his dear friends to his bosom, opening up to them, encouraging them under difficult times, and being with them at moments of joy and sadness. And Bill Mayaka will testify to that. Those friends are here and abroad, like our former teachers at the Alliance High School, with whom we kept in close contact more than any of us. Sally Cosgrave is here, a dear friend of both of us, who can tell her own story and her own history with Joe. I'm sure Francis Mudaura can speak on behalf of all those who worked with in government who enjoyed Joe's company. And finally, fellow Kenyans, on behalf of Raila Amolo Odinga and the ODM fraternity, Joe would have thanked you today for the mission you sent us together during the settlement of the controversial elections of 2007-2008. With Joe, Jakaya Kikwete, on behalf of Raila. And I was thoroughly impressed by Joe's power of persuasion on our stand and points of view while insisting on the indivisibility of the Kenyan nation and the sanctity of holding together as East Africans. We have lost a diplomat par excellence, Joseph William Nyaga. Joe, you go to heaven with the many ties that bind us together. Great be the ties that bind. Rest in peace, Wood Mama. God be with you till we meet again. By his counsels help and hold you. In his hands securely fold you. God be with you till we meet again. Till we meet again. Till we meet again. God be with you till we meet. Till we meet. Till we meet again. Till we meet again. God be with you till we meet again.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. Trust Ajaluo, he must sing for you to hear. He has a beautiful voice. Excellent voice, Professor Makofi. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. The next one will be a very good friend of Joe for many years. They did very many nice things and evil things together, I assume. They have worked this journey a long time. They are together in ODM. If you saw those who came in earlier, he was at one point a big man in Mombasa. Now he's our Minister for Tourism, Waziri Najib Balala, all the way from Mombasa. Tukushukuru kwa safari yako. Thank you so much, Mheshimiwa Waziri. You give your condolence.
All is good, all the time. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, colleagues, the family of Joe, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Governor of Embu, the Speaker of the National Assembly. I wondered why Mary asked me to speak here today. The whole story was said by Professor Anyang' Nyong'o. But I realized everything I did, probably I copied Joe. I'm a perfectionist too. He dreamed to be a president. I don't know if you have reached there. I have 20 years difference between me and Joe. But one time we were together in the so-called the orange and banana movement. And finally, when we declared that the orange will become a party, it was Professor Nyang, His Excellency William Ruto, His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta, Raila Odinga, Joe, and myself, when we consulted and we said probably the orange must be a party. And that's why during the divisive referendum of 2005, hope this referendum will not be the percussion of a divided nation, would be bad. I appeal that it must be a unifying referendum, or if none, no referendum, but a unity of purpose to build this nation. So we went through that, formed a party. The party, I was the member number 101 of ODM. I ran within my party. Suddenly, Joe Nyaga followed. Then it was William Ruto. Then it was Musalia Mudavadi. Then it was Raila Odinga. We went back to Kasarani. And I remember in 2002, when I met Joe at Serena, it was after the Kasarani of Serena when there was a merger of KANU and NDP. That time, I asked Joe, what are the plans? Where are you going? He says, don't worry, Najib. I will be in government by any ways. In any equation, he will be in government. I said, fine. So you have seen now, I've learned, I am in all governments. And even the next one coming, I will be in there. So, Your Excellency, I don't know if I'll be in your government, but I know I will be in government. The only thing, ile rada nimepoteza kidogo. Zamani nilikuwa ninajibu, sina siri. Sasa nimezeeka kidogo, o nimepevuka kidogo. Sasa hatujui mambo itaenda vipi. But I can assure you, if you mean good for this country, like Joe was, committed, honest, with dignity, and no politics of deceit, then this country will move forward and the good people will lead this country. So when we were in ODM, Pentagon then, finally, and then crisis happened, we had to go to negotiations with the Kofi Annan and the group. And before Kofi Annan, John Kufur came. He was the chairman of African Union. He came to Intercontinental Hotel. And because we were young, we were literally vibrant, and we wanted what is recognized. And I can tell you, John Kufur requested for the two of us, myself and Joe, not to attend the meeting because we were too straight in the discussions. We wanted what is right to be done. And then we were left out. Suddenly, it was Musalia Mudavadi who went upstairs, Raila Odinga and William Ruto who met John Kufur. Unfortunately, that discussion collapsed. And then later, Jakaya Kikwete came in as again the new chair of the African Union, and where then that the good things and the reconciliation happened. So you could see we came a long way. And before even the reconciliation, tear gases, we were all being asked by the same Secretary General of Mass Action to go on the streets. And yes, we were the young Turks. William Ruto, myself, Joe was behind us hiding. And that's why I didn't know the story of a toothbrush or a toothpaste. But I can tell you, we didn't mean bad. We just wanted the right things to happen again. So yes, we came a long way. And I can tell you as well, every time things happen, I ask him. He said, don't worry, we shall be in government. 2008, we were in government, all of us. 2013, some of us, led by Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. 2017, the same thing. 2017, I asked Joe, what are you doing? Running for presidency for what? We are already in government. He says, don't worry, now you'll be in my government. So I told him, fine, let me go with my own government, and we lose, I'll join you. So then he comes back and says, now I retire. You know, I have a young daughter, a young wife, and I'm going back to the village. So I said, fine. So occasionally we meet at my house in Kileleshwa, we are closer, we are friends. And yes, Joe, I can say, I will miss your counsel. I will miss your wisdom. I will also want to say you have been a great man for this country. Rest in peace.